Whoop. Forgot to put up the little thing. Well, I guess we just don't need it. We'll just hang out here and say good morning. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and this is the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Oop. Forgot to put up the little thing. Let me... Well, I guess we just don't need it. We'll just hang out here. I gotta find where my thing is here. There we go. All right. Hey, issues. It's issues. All right. I have nobody sitting second chair at the moment. So, hey, I was kind of expecting Jeff and Terry. Neither one of them are up and about yet, I guess. Let's see. Let us get this in here and turn that off. Get my comments loaded up here. And it doesn't. Yep. That one's not working. Let's see. I've got two over here. I'm just pressing buttons right now, guys. Good morning. And like, just pressing buttons right now, guys. Oh yeah. There we go. It looks like I got all three streams running right now. How freaking cool. Let's see. And did that come out over there? Nope, that didn't come out on X. Damn. Good morning, X. There it is. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah, I'm seeing it on one side. All right. We're good. We could do this. We'll make it work. Let me give everybody a call here. Wow. That's kind of odd. Nobody is up. Wow. Am I the only person in the world? Did the rapture happen? And I'm the only one left? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, Jeff is on his way. He's having some technical difficulties. He said he'll be in shortly. So there's two of us that are left from the rapture, I guess. I haven't heard from Terry. Don't know if Terry's around. Man, big shoe today. We're going to talk about, we're going to get kind of back to the basics of being a radio operator today, not just being a prepper. We're going to talk about operating under martial law, under extreme civil unrest, if that's what it is. It will be, it's going to be kind of an interesting deal. If and when that happens, I think it's more of a when than if. We'll talk about civil unrest, which is actually happening now. We're going to talk a little bit about operating under martial law or in a declared martial law. And who knows what our government would do in this day and age if they would use the the War Powers Act, the War Powers Act, they could declare, just like they did in World War II, they could basically shut down all amateur radio stations. They could shut down GMRS. They could actually tell everybody don't use FRS or CB. I mean, they could kind of do whatever they want. But knowing that the message has got to get out, the personal messages, the personal welfare checks, that's all still got to happen. And if we don't have access to other means of communication like cell phones, people are just going to resort to doing it on the radio, legal or not. We're going to talk about some of those issues. We'll talk about training, how a lot of the things that we do right now within the ham radio community are actually training us to operate between the margins. So we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about stealth antennas. Instead of sticking a big beam up in the air, which is great right now, but what happens if martial law is declared? What happens if there is some extreme civil unrest in an area that you're at, and you don't want people to know necessarily that you've got radio equipment? So maybe at some point, some of that equipment is going to have to come down or get hidden. And then we'll talk about passing traffic and what kind of traffic, all that good stuff. So hope y'all stick with me today. Let's see. I don't have much in the way of sit reps today. And that's just because I was working on this and I was working on some other stuff. But hopefully Terry's up. And Terry might have... Let me tell Jeff, and let's see. And I'm going to tell Terry we're on the air. On the air. And maybe one of them will come in. The fire guy is in there. Let's see. Over on Rumble, on the Rumble side here. Gary 003. That is Sean from Minnesota, I believe. Over on... I believe, it says right there. I have a little window on my screen that works with X and it works with YouTube. I don't know why it doesn't work with Rumble. And I'm trying to figure that out, figure if I could port that stuff into the streaming software that I have. But the fire guy, who's back out in the old country of Northern California. He's in there. Thanks for joining. Let's see. There is a lot going on. Man, we got a move made by the U.S., I guess, yesterday or announced that really has me... it's got a lot of people upset. It's got me upset and kind of nervous that they're going to put a Qatari military base or a training facility at Mountain Home Air Force Base. Guys, Mountain Home Air Force Base is about 60 miles to my west. And there's a strategic bombing range that, I mean, like daily, we hear and feel big bombs going off all the time when they're training. And that kind of scares the crap out of me. It does. Let's see. Let's see how many we've got. Well, like I said, right now, what I am doing, and we'll just take off that. Normally, what I do is I get on here a few minutes early and I just try to work out all the bugs. I've got a lot of moving parts, and unlike some of the big streamers that have people in the background that are pushing the buttons, let me fire this one up here and I'll show you kind of what goes on over here. I mean, there's a lot of button pushing, and let me move over here. Oh, look at that! Look who's in there. I'm gonna show you guys first, and then we'll go to Jeff. And we'll get him in there. So I have all this stuff going on. This is the audio mixing board. Here's video mixing board over here. Then there's stuff that I got to do on the screens. So I literally, guys, have like a 3-ring circus going on around here. But I am going to, let's see. Jeff is assigned as, see, that's the other thing, is I've got more controls on the screen. We're going to bring Jeff in. Good morning, my brother. Oh, hang on.
Good morning. Can you hear
put
me?
These on so I can hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, man. I had thought for a minute that maybe I was the only one left alive on the earth.
I was having a Bob moment this morning, and it has been a challenge. I got up about 10 minutes ago, because I am tired from all the travel. So, I came in here and nothing was set up in the office, and I had to set up on the fly, and then nothing wanted to work, and then Windows Update came in, and that's the problem.
You know what? When Windows wants to update, Windows is going to update, and it's just takes over the whole world.
Yeah. So bear with me. I'm still in the setup mode, but I wanted to get online so you knew I was coming.
Okay, cool. Let's see. It's time to start the deal, so you don't have to say anything. You can go ahead and mute if you want, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up the mic, and we're going to get going here. I have... Oh, give me a second here. All right. All right, let me make sure I've got the mic. I do. Good morning and welcome to the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. I'm Bob, K6UDA, your net control this morning. This net meets every Saturday morning at 0900 hours Mountain Time on the K6UDA repeater located deep within the Southern Idaho Command in Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a digital radio net accessible via Wires X Room 40448 and YSF Reflector 40448, the Idaho Command. Also available on the Hanson Butte 2-meter fusion repeater 145.170 and local hams with analog radios can also participate using the KB7 DFP repeater 442.000. And if you have Echolink or All-Star, you can also get into KB7 DFP and participate in that way on those modes. The purpose of this net is the free exchange of information related to emergency preparedness, commonly known as prepping. We encourage deep dives into subjects related to food, water, shelter, personal protection, weapons, survival tactics, medical issues, communication gear, and techniques. I'm looking for subject matter experts to lead discussions on all these various subjects. If you have material you'd like to present or discuss, when you check in, please indicate that you have a subject. Although not primarily political, discussion of relevant political, cultural, or religious events are welcome in the context of situational awareness and survival. As part of my preparedness plan, practicing for the gathering and dissemination of important news and information to my friends, family, and my local community is what this net is all about. So as training, we do a sit-rep or situation report every week. While times are good, I'm using general news stories that I find interesting, and I ask everyone here to contribute their own stories or sit-reps, especially if they are in or near an affected area of an actual emergency. In order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, I'm doing check-ins and comments in the following order. We'll do local repeater check-ins, YSF, and then we'll get to some live stream comments. You are encouraged to check in with your first name, call sign, location, and how you're getting onto the net, i.e. the local repeater, YSF, WIRES-X. That being said, do we have any local repeater check-ins? Okay. All right. Let's. Boy, I hope I'm going out over the radio. Let's open it up to WIRES-X, local repeater or WIRES-X. Come now.
Kilo Oscar 4 Oscar Mike Hotel Patty in Virginia Beach. No traffic.
All right, Patty. Hey, thanks for checking in, and thanks for representing Virginia Beach. That's Florida, right?
Hi. Negative. Virginia, unfortunately.
Okay. I guess I didn't major in geography. So, hey, thanks for checking in, and copied no traffic from you. Looking for check-ins. I'm just going to open it up. Anybody, anywhere. Check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net.
Kilo Julius 7 Romeo Alpha Romeo. There's that one up, and you're ready to go. Twin Falls on your repeater. This is Terry.
All right, good morning, Terry, and Terry's up in the green room, ready to jump on the live stream for today's live stream portion of the net. Looking for check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Come now.
W0SUN, Whiskey Zero, Sierra Uniform November, Denver, Colorado on the Denver repeater.
All right, W0SUN, Bucky in Denver. Thanks for joining. And do you have any traffic for us this morning?
Kilo Bravo 7, Delta Foxtrot Papa, KB7 DFT, Cannon Twin Falls, no traffic.
W0SUN trying to get a check-in from Denver.
All right, W7SUN, I got you in Denver. And KB7 DFP, I got you here in Twin Falls. And then I also saw N7RBP on the monitor. Welcome, everybody. And let's see, W0SUN, you were first up. Do you have any traffic for the net?
No traffic today, thank you. W0SUN.
All right, thanks, Bucky. Bob in Medford, do you have any traffic for the net?
Nothing right now, Bob, but who knows what may come. No traffic right now, over.
All right, very good. Good to hear you on the net. Let's see. Looking for check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Come now.
KB7 SQS Lance, Twin Falls, no traffic.
All right, copied Lance here in Twin Falls. Thanks for checking in, my friend, and thanks for the use of your repeaters for the net. Let's see. Also, I see on the monitor KK7ELZ and KF0OHU in Minnesota. We'll go ahead and do KF0OHU since you were first.
Okay, this is Sean from Minnesota. No traffic today. I think the only big things we've got going on in our state is the Attorney General's pushing for boys to play in girls' sports, but no major drama here in our state for now. KF0OHU, back to net.
All right, Sean, thanks for that. Always a pleasure to hear what's going on in Minnesota, I guess. KK7ELZ, I see you on the monitor. Go ahead. Do you have any traffic?
No traffic today. Thanks for being there and doing the net, and everybody have a great Saturday. This will be KK7ELZ, and I'll be clear.
All right, thanks for that. We'll do one more round of check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Come now. Okay. All right, looks like we've got a lull in the activity there. So we'll go ahead and move into our sit rep section. I didn't prepare much in the way of sit reps. Couple that I do have locally here, I had just posted in the last couple of days a few videos related to Jerome County and their violation of our Second Amendment rights here in Idaho. Excuse me, I'm gonna let it drop. Excuse me. Okay, and let's see. Yes, in other big news, Second Amendment news from the Fire Guy over on YouTube here. Governor Newsom in California, he signed the Glock ban and barrel registration bills. So barrels that have no serial number on them, and I don't know how they're going to do a registration. But now you're going to have to do some sort of it's not going to be a 4473 because there's nowhere to do that. But you're going to have to, California will figure out some way to have you register that you bought a barrel. And I'm sure they'll move that on to other parts, other firearms parts. And he signed the Glock ban. This specifically, excuse me, bans, I believe it's starting next year. This will ban, I think, every Glock model made. And some Glock type firearms, other other firearms that are like Glocks. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yes. I think Terry's going to come in and he'll talk a little bit more about this one. But in national news, the Pentagon, the Trump administration, has signed a deal with the country of Qatar, who is one of our enemies, actually, and they don't like us. But they are going to be setting up a training facility at Mountain Home Air Force Base. And for those of you who live here in Idaho, you know Mountain Home Air Force Base is about 60, 70 miles west of our location here in the Magic Valley. Doesn't give me a real warm and fuzzy feeling, and I know Terry is going to have more on that one. Does anybody else have any other sit reps for us? K6UDA. Okay.
KO4 OMH has a sit rep.
Yeah, KO4 OHS, go ahead.
Roger, thanks, Bob. This is KO4 OMH, Patty. I guess I misspoke earlier when I said I had no traffic. Sometimes my mouth just goes and my brain doesn't make the link there. So as far as here in Virginia Beach, I know we're getting ready for there's a nor'easter coming in. I don't think it's going to be all that bad, but I made sure everything in the yard is cleaned up, tied down, and still got plenty of gas, food, water. So I don't think it'll be a big deal. I think the big thing is they predict a lot of flooding in this area, like they usually do. But even still, It never seems to be that bad, but you just never know. So that's why we stay prepared for the unexpected. So other than that, that's about it for me. I do have one question for you, Bob. Last time I participated, and I heard you mention this earlier. You can watch along on a live stream that you have. I did a search on your YouTube page and stuff, but I don't see that. Is that something that I have to sign up for, or can you direct me to that? With that, that's about it for me. And KO4 OMH back in control.
All right, KO4OMH. Yeah, you don't have to sign up for anything. We stream on 3 different platforms. We stream mainly on our Rumble channel, the Idaho Preparedness channel on Rumble. You go to rumble.com, just type into the search bar Idaho Preparedness channel, and the live stream will come up over there. I have just added a new YouTube channel over there on YouTube, ironically called the Idaho Preparedness channel. So you could go to YouTube and type in the search bar Idaho Preparedness channel, and you could subscribe over there and watch the live stream on YouTube, or you could do it on x.com @GraymanSurvival. So 3 ways you could get on and watch the live stream and participate directly. But yeah, thanks for reminding me to do that. Do we have any other sit reps? Oh, you know what? I do have another sit rep real quick. Also, in California, you may or may not be aware that Governor Newsom has put a ballot measure on, made a special election, actually, and did one ballot measure. It's Proposition 50 or it's ballot measure 50. But that is to redistrict the state again to basically wipe out any remaining Republican areas for congressional seats, so they can completely have all seats be Democrat. Anyway, people have been posting on X that if you vote no on 50, that is you don't want the politicians to figure out their redistricting, which is, I guess, illegal in California, that the people that are counting the votes, when they get your mail-in ballot or your dropped-off ballot, and I guess that's still the way they're doing it, they can see that you voted no from the outside of the envelope. It's the damnedest thing. I mean, it just must be a mistake. But anyway, hoping that somebody files a lawsuit very quickly and gets this election put on hold until they could fix the ballots. Anyway, are there any other check-ins, sit reps, or traffic for the net? All right. Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close out the radio portion of the net. I'd like to thank all the nodes, all the participating nodes, and looks like we have 10 participating nodes on Wires X. I have no idea how many are listening on YSF and or on our participating repeaters throughout the Magic Valley. But I want to say thank you all for joining the net. Thank you all for participating, checking in. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and release all of the nodes and repeaters back to their normal operation. You can join the rest of the net on Rumble, on X, or on the new YouTube channel, the Idaho Preparedness Channel. And I will say 7-3 to everybody. And see, well, actually, I don't know if I'll be around next week. No, I won't. We will not have a net next week. I will be on the road. So I will see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks much, and talk to you then. 7-3. Okay. All right. We are back. And I'm going to bring in Terry. And we're going to go ahead and three of us today are going to jump in there. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
That was synchronous.
I'm here, awake, overslept. Sorry about that.
All right, and Jeff is in the house too. Morning, Jeff. Do you have all the technical difficulties on your end worked out?
Yo, we're gonna make it work. Put it that way.
Okay.
They're not worked out, but we're gonna make it work.
Good. Good. Let's see. What have Terry, I know you've got something. You are the one that alerted me to that whole Qatar thing that's going on in our state, 60 miles from where we are. What can you fill us in?
Sure. Let me read something to you first, can I?
Okay.
It was the news article that I found. It's titled Pentagon agrees to host Qatari F-15 fighter jets and pilots at Idaho Air Base. And then it goes on to say, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced Friday that the Pentagon has agreed to host a new Qatari Air Force facility in Idaho, saying that the nation has played a core part in securing the Gaza peace deal. Hegseth made the announcement during an enhanced honor cordon arrival ceremony at the Pentagon for Qatar's Minister of Defense. Today, we're announcing a letter of acceptance in building a Qatari Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. The new base will host Qatari F-15 fighter jets and pilots, all set to bomb America. The location will enhance our combined training, increase lethality, and it just goes on. Let me get some more back here, just reading the notes here. He added that the project reflects the depth, this is what gets me, the depth of the U.S.-Qatari defense partnership, and thank Qatari for its involvement in recent diplomatic efforts. You have been a core part of what has unfolded in Gaza, a historic moment, Hegseth said. We're grateful for the strong partnership that we have, the way you support troops, Your Excellency, the line of communication we have had. Al Thenai, whatever his name is, echoed the same message, calling the Gaza peace deal a historic achievement that demonstrates what can be accomplished when our nations work together. President Trump announced Wednesday that Israel and Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire. The thing that gets me is anybody that is aware of Qatari understands that Qatari has been the home of the upper echelon of Hamas. They're the big guys, the millionaires that live in the luxury hotels there and or apartments there, and finance and support and push Hamas in their attacks in Gaza against Israel and wherever else you can find Hamas. They're the ones that say yay or nay to Hamas. So if Hamas wanted to back down, they could say no or yes. They're the one that has forced Hamas um, uh, to to come to do the peace deal. Now we've got to understand these people hate us. These people hate us with a passion. The whole Muslim idea is we will appease you, Mr. America, and anybody else until we can get in far enough so that when the time comes, we can do the dirty deeds that we want to accomplish. And the idea of having a military Air Force training facility and the airplanes here in the country is just insane. But one day, if we're still around that long, we will be fighting with Qatar or their associates. It's going to happen. So, I don't understand how our government can go along with that. Now, I have to say this, that Trump is very sneaky in the way he does his deals, and he's able to accomplish quite a bit. When we look at the outside of it, we can look at it sometimes and say, well, that's stupid. Why is he doing that? Then it turns out to be very good and accomplishing a lot. But I don't always think that's the case. I don't think he doesn't have the kind of mindset about the Muslims and their hatred for Americans and everybody else that's not Muslim. He doesn't understand that, they can work a deal with you. They can sit there with their arm around you and hug you and kiss you and and give you a plane and work a $1 trillion deal and all that, and then stab you tomorrow. That's the way they are if it works out for them. So this is not a good thing, I don't think, unless, but, one thing I always have to back on, God's in control. He has the plan. And what can I say? God's in control, and he knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And so we get upset because, I don't want some 60, how long does it take him to get here from there? When we're at the airport having lunch, the Air Force flies into our airport.
The airport, yeah. They're flying over my house constantly. I've got jets, that are flying over, low level. What scares me is you would imagine Qatar's going to use this bombing range, and we're going to probably be supplying the bombs. And guys, if you don't know, there is an active bombing range. It's 80 to 100 miles from our houses, and it's south. It's in the Idaho and Nevada deserts. How hard would it be if they decided, hey, you know what? Let's go take out an American city right now. We're at war, and they do a coordinated attack, and they're in on it, to fly a couple of their F-15s as a first strike. They could literally wipe out our city as a first run kind of a thing.
Now, the only thing that we know of is that you've got to have a bomb in order to drop it. And I don't think they're going to have a free reign putting bombs in their airplanes. So
I hope not, but that's a major component of what Mountain Home Air Force Base is all about. Kind of scares me.
I don't know why if they want to do it, you guys in the East Coast aren't going to be happy. Do it in one of the woke states. Maybe down the street.
Do it in Michigan, Illinois.
I was thinking more of Chicago, but what can I say? Or California. That's
yeah.
But, California's trying really, really hard to get rid of the liberal idiots over there. But
they are. And then, did you hear about? I've been seeing these pictures all over social media, where if you vote no on their Proposition 50 to redistrict, and you put it in your little envelope and you're going to drop it off at the polling place or the registrar of voters or whatever it is out there. If you vote no, they can look and your no vote shows right through a hole in the envelope. Not if you vote yes. If you vote yes, you won't see anything. And so what's to stop them from taking all these no votes and tossing them in the garbage?
Yeah. Well, we heard that they did
Can
that
you still
also
hear me?
in the re-election.
Yes, I can.
when they were-
Oh, Jeff
My
is
image
frozen.
is frozen. You can hear me. You can hear me, but my camera quit working. Sorry about that. I'll work on fixing that. I don't want to interrupt.
Okay. So what I'll do then is we'll go to a 2-shot here. And I'm going to go ahead and...
You got Jeff in there.
I know, I've got Jeff. I'm going to go to Terry. There's Terry. And you still say Jeff over there. So...
It's okay. He's a good guy.
I see Jeff's camera is unmuted. So we'll jump back over. Nope, no. There he goes. All right. We're going back to our 3-shot.
I look like
Jeff
I
has
feel.
the
I look
he
like
has
I
the
feel.
soft focus. There it is.
There we go. That's how
There
I
it
felt.
is. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, and the first thing that I thought of is, wow, put a federal lawsuit out there in California and sue them to stop the election until they could fix the ballots. And then they'd have to reprint all the ballots. I think it's just ridiculous. And they'll go through with this, and it'll be such a farce that this special election, one issue, will be such a farce because your secret ballot is no longer a secret. You submit your ballot, and if you vote no on this, they don't even have to open it. They could see it with your name attached to it. And so when they decide, hey, you know what, we're going to go after these dissident people in California, they've already got your name.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there is. Let's see.
After the last election, there was
Or
a
your
lot of-
ballot just gets lost.
Let's see. Scott in hang on here. Let me pull this one over here. Scott Palawowski. That's a nice Irish name, kind of like Brodowski. He says, "Oh hell no, I'm in Michigan." In Michigan, Illinois. Awesome.
Kinfolk.
Yeah, very, very cool. Let's see. What else have we? Jeff, do you got anything? I know last week Jeff's camera and his microphone froze up and he was just getting started. He wanted to show off some cheap prepping items. So, Jeff, do you want to do that real quick? And then we'll get into our main topic, which is covert radio operations.
Yeah, we can do that. I was trying to get up to some pricing, but evidently all of my technical difficulties have not been fixed.
Do you want to do
yeah,
that?
So one of the things that I want.
Do you want to do you want to do your Temu prepping in a couple of weeks when we get back, or
We could do that.
and then hopefully you would have your issues fixed
We need to
because
do
you're
it on
freezing
October.
up.
Am I?
Well,
All right.
You're in slow motion right now.
That's a stupid thing. You can hear me clear though, right?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, let's plan that because I don't know what the hell's going on. I you're not in next week. I won't be in the 25th because that's the week that I'm heading back to Florida. So we'll
Okay.
have to plan it for the first. For
All
the
right.
first.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it when everybody's back here and everything. So let's
Do that.
talk a little bit about covert operations. Scott says, "Save me from this hellhole." Yep. Yep. I hear you, my friend. All right, I'm gonna move that over there. I'm gonna move that. And so I can see kind of what I'm doing over here. Anybody that has any comments, please throw the comments in. We're going to get to your comments as soon as we can. If you have any questions, and please give this live stream a thumbs up. And if you're watching on Team Replay later on today, tomorrow, whenever, please give the video a big thumbs up. It really, really does help. It helps all the algorithms. We're trying to build things up over here on Rumble. I'm just getting the YouTube thing started. I actually just started that that channel up last week. So that's brand new. Very, very few people even know about it. And I haven't even advertised it really at all. This is the first time I've really advertised it. So jump on any one of them, your favorite, and we'll go. And then on X, you can watch on X, and then you can listen to me rant and rave. I do lots of ranting and raving and trolling the left over on X. I really enjoy that. So, let me just put out this little disclaimer here before we get going today. This topic is for discussion only. We are not condoning, promoting, or advocating operating on any band without a proper license or authorization from the appropriate authority. Just want to put that out there. And now we're going to start really pissing off the FUDs in the crowd, if there are any. Let's see. If martial law were declared in the U.S. based on current national trajectories marked by political polarization, sporadic civil unrest, and concerns over government overreach, the implications for ham radio operators and prepper radio enthusiasts could hinge on the scope of enforcement and the declaration. Now, drawing from historical precedents and regulatory stuff, the role of amateur radio in emergencies, basically under martial law, the federal government could invoke the War Emergency Powers Act or some similar executive authority and shut down ham radio. They could shut down GMRS. Just tell everybody you cannot transmit, period, end of story. Now, you would have a much easier time staying on the air or keeping your equipment if you are a member of something like the Amateur Radio Civil Emergency Service, RACES, or an ARES equivalent locally. Because then you could, kind of justify, and if the government says, okay, you guys can operate for, health and welfare messages, that type of stuff. Things that would enhance the government function. So you might have an easier time if you're one of those guys. Prepper radio operators, unlicensed operators using GMRS, FRS, CB, MERS. They could face harsher scrutiny. These bands, which are already limited in range and power, they could be jammed or monitored because they're all pretty much channelized. If you're planning on using those for the non-hams out there, if you're planning on using those services after something is declared like a martial law or something, or some sort of an emergency where they have the ability to say you guys cannot operate personally owned radios of any type, whatever. Personally, I know, well, of course, I'm going to follow the law. But there will be people who won't, because there's information that needs to get out there. News and information that needs to get out to your friends and family in your local communities. Operational traffic that needs to get out there. Let's see. FCC, operating without an FCC license during a civil war or a martial law could risk you as severe penalties, including equipment confiscation, which I would imagine they'll probably try to do that as soon as they impose martial law. We're going to get to that stuff, especially if the transmissions are deemed subversive. So it says that hams should be aligned with Aries and Races to ensure legal operations. Preppers using unregulated radios like Bowfangs should get licensed and practice disciplined, low-profile communications. Now, the role in civil unrest. You guys have anything so far? Anybody on any of our platforms? Any questions? Where in the People's Republic of Michigan are you? That's the CV Farmer too, Scott. Okay, carry on. Let's see. Prepper operators. Those outside formal structures might focus on local survival networks, sharing info on safe zones or supplies. However, without coordination, they risk interfering with official nets or attracting attention from looters or authorities. And that's the big thing. Remember, if you're not operating on, say, ham radio, or you're not operating on some very obscure frequencies, and you're doing stuff, you're doing prepper communications, let's just say non-licensed prepper communications, and you're relying on tools like GMRS, FRS. Remember, those frequencies are channelized, and those services are channelized. You're not able to ride the VFO up or down a few kilohertz to make it harder for somebody to hear you. And I'm actually more concerned with bad guys. More than the government. I know that in some major areas, and hey, if you're in Portland right now, it might seem like you're kind of under martial law. I don't know. If you're in Chicago, it might seem kind of like the same thing. that you've got, and I haven't heard that there's any martial law that's been declared or anything, but you've got a pervasive lawlessness out there, and I would be more concerned with these people who have no issue looting, rioting, stealing. They're murdering each other in those areas with pretty much impunity. Let's see. Let me move in.
Hey, Bob,
Yeah.
I want folks to understand that the violence is going to increase. If you remember back, at one time they were just protesting and marching with signs. Then it became more of a riot to where they would push back against the policemen and this ICE and all that. And there would be pushbacks and stuff like that. Which, of course, if they had done that in an individual situation, let's say where they got pulled over by the police and they started pushing back, they'd go to jail right off the bat. And the thing that is that if they're arrested for state crime, the state that they're riding in, they're not going to do a thing because they're behind all this.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to move into being a federal crime so that the state can't do anything. But now that they've done this, and now that they've increased to some more violence, and they've increased the gunfire and even trying to shoot and kill the ICE, and it's going now. That spirit in them, the demonic spirit in them, is getting them riled and been able to say, let's move to the next. They're not saying this, but it's happening. Let's move to the next level. And there will be gunfires and murders happening, and it's going to get more vicious and more violent. And I don't understand why these states don't. Well, I understand why these states don't. They're deceived and totally deceived, and they're playing right into Satan's hand, and they're going to end up opening up their city for an absolute violent scene that will move out into the other parts of the city where they're trying to keep it located. Like, remember, I was a cop in Portland, so I know where they're at and where they're doing their stuff. And we have family over there still, and they say, yeah, it doesn't come out to where we're at. And, they're almost like normal people about there. But it will begin to fan out, and it will begin to affect other people in the city. That's coming next. Just watch it. Mm-hmm. So the feds have to start arresting people for federal crimes, whatever that may be for them. But they need to do that in order to actually put these people in jail. The only way to stop them is put them in jail, because their bail is paid for if they have any at all, and they'll be back on the street. I remember I used to get frustrated. By the time I got done writing the report on the guy that I just put in jail, they're out on the street already. You probably remember that too.
I am.
Frustrated. What's the purpose? It's going to get worse, and we just need to be prepared for it.
Yeah. Frankly, I was a little shocked in the Portland area that the police actually looked, and I don't know if they are, but it looks like they are supporting and aligning themselves more with Antifa than being a neutral law enforcement agency, and that's pretty shocking. And I hate to say that, about police agencies, because, man, I'm such a huge pro cop person, doing it for 28 years. But I do want to get back. Let's get back in. Some general principles for all radio types. First thing, you want to minimize your transmissions. You want to use your radio as an intel device, which means, like, if you have a mobile radio, if you have a base station radio, or even a handheld ham radio, you have hundreds and thousands of different frequencies, and a lot of this stuff that you can plug in and listen to can give you great intel. You can in a lot of jurisdictions, you can monitor police, fire, the dog catcher, whatever, and you could find out find out official channels, what's going on, where it's going on. Monitor air traffic. We might not be able to monitor the military stuff, but if civilian air traffic is still flying, the military does need to coordinate with civilian air traffic, because physics don't care if you're in an F-15 or a 747 or a Cessna 182. The laws of physics say if those 2 or 3 planes meet in the air, it's not going to be a good day for anybody. So the military still coordinates with civilian air traffic everywhere they're going. You can always look and see, kind of where the military is, what they're doing by monitoring that air traffic. So keep your transmissions down using low power. We've talked about this before, using between 1 and 5 watts to reduce the signal range and detectability. Works best for UHF, VHF, and GMRS. Avoid fixed locations. Rooftop towers that are visible or traceable. Use portable setups like small wire dipoles, mag mounts that can be deployed and hidden. You want to have pre-coordinate plans. You want to establish simplex frequencies, schedules, code words with trusted contacts before all this really, really kicks off and gets bad. Because once it gets bad, it's almost too late. We need to have these things set up with our trading partners, with our prepping partners, and our friends and family. Let's see, power independence. We want to be able to use batteries, solar chargers, hand crank generators, and not rely on the power grid for a lot of this stuff. Let's see. Let me move in.
I just posted in both YouTube and in the Rumble chats. I just posted a SHTF frequency list link to what a lot of preppers and survivalists SHTF frequencies and two-way radio communications frequencies. Those would be really good channels to be monitoring at a time like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. We've talked about some of these things before. I'm kind of trying to put a lot of this together. And I know under normal circumstances, like I said, the FUDs, they're going to be pissed off at me because it sounds like I'm advocating doing things the wrong way. But when it hits, in a survival situation, in a time of civil unrest or martial law, we still need to get the information. And if you think that everybody's just going to shut up and turn off their radios, well, you're part of the problem. Let's see. During civil unrest and martial law, preppers can use radio transmissions to share critical information while maintaining OPSEC and avoid detection or misrepresentation by authorities or hostile groups. Focus should be on practical, neutral, community-oriented communications that support survival and coordination without escalating tensions or violating FCC regulations. Key principles: brevity. Keep your messages short, 10 to 15 seconds. If that. Minimize detection by radio or direction finding equipment. Neutrality. You want to avoid political, tactical, or anti-government topics to prevent you from being flagged as a subversive. OPSEC, use coded language or pseudonyms. Eagle to eagle's nest instead of names or call signs. And use prearranged frequencies. Jeff just posted a list of some prearranged frequencies. Also, when using like VHF, UHF radios, we're going to move to a simplex plan. You're not going to be, especially if the government says, or if the government says, hey, no more ham radio, we're not going to be using repeaters because repeaters have to be in a fixed position and they're much, much easier to trace. So everything is going to get scaled down small. Useful transmissions is going to be like health and welfare messages, purpose. You want to, let your family, if I need to let my family know that I am safe, if I need to get a message to, say, my grandson who is in Oregon, and I need to make sure that he's safe, or I want to see if he is safe, if he needs anything, if he needs me to try to make it to him and pick him up. It's basically you're relaying messages, and hopefully just trying to see, if if this person is alive and well. Resource requests and coordination. Sharing info on critical supplies, food, water, medical supplies, and to coordinate logistics, how to get there, how to do things. If there's medical tents set up at a certain location. Evacuation and safe route. If there's a cause for evacuations, you want to share real-time updates on safe paths, roadblocks, or curfew zones. That can be construed as giving away critical tactical information. So you want to be careful what you say on the radio if you're saying it. Situational awareness reports. You want to share observations of unrest in your city or your area, a military presence or an infrastructure status, without speculation. So you don't want to stoke the fires of conspiracy or conjecture. This is about stating facts. This installation is located here. We know for a fact that they're doing X, Y, and Z. And then emergency alerts. You want to do that. Subjects to avoid: political talk, tactical talk, anything that somebody that political talk, because if the bad guys or the enemy is listening to your transmissions, then that makes you a target of them. If you're discussing tactics in the midst of martial law, that makes you a target of the military. So you got to be really, really careful if you're going to be doing that. Couple of comments. Jeff or Terry, do you want to read some of the comments?
Well, I had. You want to go, Jeff?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm having a
Um,
hard time hearing you guys. It's all garbled, so I got a really bad connection. So I don't know if I'm coming out garbled, so it might be safer if Terry handles that.
Okay. Jeff, I can hear you just fine. So,
yeah, me too.
Okay.
I asked the question and I said, when do you guys watching think that the poop might hit the fan? And I got a couple responses, and one says, "My gut says this is from I can't see it, I can't read it. My gut says it's
For me,
coming. Oh, okay, it's coming, but I suspect we're still a ways out. Oop, I just changed it. Ways out from any real, you know, poop hitting the fan, nationwide poop hitting the fan." And there was another one. Oh, where'd it go? Another one from CUCVS Farmer says, I think within 1 or 2 years at the most. So those are some ideas of what some people think when the poop can really hit the fan. Um, the one is from, again, the farmer. Wife and I are saving up for solar generator. I know it won't work good in the winter because of the lake. Okay, that's okay. That's good. Um, and that's all I have, or all that I can read.
okay.
Okay, so
I got two more. KK7RDO says you also want to keep a prescription logbook so you can refer back, or RX logbook and refer back and more. In K Falls, Bob just posted that he gave a link to an invisible wire that he's been using for NFET and dipole experiments, and it works well and is virtually invisible
Yeah.
as a way to have an antenna out there that the people can't see.
Those are, yeah, that's a very, very good idea. And doing an end fed like that.
Stealth. Yep, stealth.
Could yeah, and it also kind of depends upon where you're located. If you're in the middle of the city, even the low profile end-fed, unless it's disguised as something, could attract attention. Let's see. HF, using HF to disseminate news and information during civil unrest, martial law, or when normal news sources, the internet, cell phones, are unavailable, is feasible, but it comes with significant risks, challenges, and considerations. HF's ability to communicate over long distances, hundreds to thousands of miles, without relying on any infrastructure makes it a very powerful tool for preppers and hams seeking to share critical updates in a crisis. Let's see. Some of the challenges that you might have are going to be under regulatory or under martial law, the FCC or War Powers Emergency Act could limit HF use to RACES or ARES use only, and banning non-essential transmissions. Let's see. Detection risk. HF travels far. It makes them easier to detect via direction finding equipment. Authorities or adversaries could locate transmitters in minutes. Interference and jamming. Crowded HF bands or intentional jamming in common conflict zones could disrupt transmissions. And broadcasting news, kind of like what we're doing here, because I think it's so important that we are aware of what's going on in different parts of the country. Could be seen as spreading misinformation or dissent, risking legal action if not aligned with established emergency protocols. So basically the best ways of communicating or getting out news and information and communicating are going to be digital modes. Digital modes are the best choice for disseminating news during civil unrest or martial law. Stealth. PSK31 and WinLink signals are less conspicuous than voice or CW. It sounds like static to untrained listeners, reducing casual interception. So true. Your average bad guys are they're going to hear that and they're going to consider it static and move on. They're listening for voice transmissions. Text-based modes transmit detailed information, supply lists, safe zones, and it's much faster than CW and more secure than voice. Low power, between 5 and 20 watts, is usually sufficient. It minimizes the direction finding risk compared to voice. Recommendations: CW as primary. Why CW? It's narrow signal and low power, 1 to 5 watts, makes it ideal for avoiding detection during martial law, where radio direction finding might be employed. On HF bands, say 40 or 80, it can reach hundreds of miles with a simple wire antenna. CW works in very noisy or jammed environments. It's common in unrest. No reliance on computers, which could fail or be confiscated. Survivalists and hams in disaster zones like Katrina used CW for reliable low-profile comms when voice failed. An example, 5-watt QRP rig with a dipole can send a coded message, meet at point alpha at 1800 hours. That can go across states undetectable unless somebody has either specialized equipment or the knowledge of how to decode CW. Digital as secondary. The flexibility of digital, say JS8 call, allows text-based messaging and store and forward relays, group comms, and it's ideal for sharing detailed plans, coordinates, inventories. FT8 for fast, quick check-ins. It's low profile, narrow bandwidth, 50 to 500 hertz. It reduces the risk compared to voice. Many prepper nets are using JS8 call for encrypted-like comms via prearranged codes. Not true encryption, and that keeps it legal for right now. The drawback is you're going to need a laptop or a smartphone, which may not be viable in a prolonged grid down or high stress scenarios. And voice as a last resort. Its wide bandwidth and clear audio make it the easiest to intercept and triangulate, especially on FM, GMRS, or 2-meter ham bands. In martial law, authorities could monitor repeaters or scan common frequencies like 146.52. You only want to use it for very, very short local bursts. No code words to obscure meaning. You want to use with code words to obscure meaning, if you've got them. And BS.
My concern, to elaborate on that a little bit, using things like JS8 call or FT8, you're still putting yourself out there. It's not an encrypted method of communication. It just stops people that don't have the tools from getting your communication, because you're still putting a digital signature out there. You're saying, "Hey, it's me. I'm putting this out here." And if you're a bug in type person, they know right where to go to find you and your equipment.
Right. So some of the practices that you would want to do is, number one, you're never ever going to transmit. You're never going to hit that transmit button from your house or from your bug in or bug out location. You're always going to do this at some remote location. Number two, antennas. Again, you have to be very stealth. That's where training right now, doing things, participating in radio sport, some contesting, QSO parties, doing POTA and SOTA activations that teaches you how to pack light, how to take an antenna with you, especially when you're doing SOTA, on operating on the move, so to speak, being able to set up an antenna, a quick antenna, and then hike out, move a half mile, a mile away, and then make your next transmission if you need to. Disguising antennas, using things like flagpole antennas, verticals disguised as poles, magnetic loops hidden in attics mainly for listening. So you're not putting any kind of a visual signature out there. Employing quick disconnect whips, tape measure antennas that can retract into pipes, store things in PVC tubes, and you want to paint them to match natural surroundings. Taking things like a cache of wire antennas, putting them underground, burying them in gardens, just like you would do with some valuables, maybe some brass and lead things. And now, because we're on YouTube, I want to kind of watch what I say. But a cache of antenna wire is much less obtrusive, and you can always, if it's found, you can always say, "Oh yeah, it's my bundle of wire that I use in case I gotta plug in a toaster." You can do that. You want to use low power when you're doing it. Hiding radios. That's you're gonna want to, if you're serious about it, and you're a currently licensed ham or a currently licensed GMRS operator. Your name and your address maybe are in a national database that's accessible via public. Anybody can look it up. So it makes you a target right away. And if you want to operate in good times and get the training, you have to deal with the fact of, okay, your name's on a list. If you say, okay, I'm not going to be on a government list and I'm not going to get a license for any reason, you're limiting your training opportunities in a lot of areas. You're generally not going to have a tested radio, and if you do operate, you're going to be operating, your Bofang or a GMRS radio, and and you're not going to know how to do a lot of the things that hams do. And you won't be able to really train.
And you're illegal.
And you're illegal for right now. If the rule of law goes away, and I don't really see the rule of law.
It's too late to train at that point. That's the disadvantage. It's too late to train.
Yes.
You miss your window.
Yes.
And I want to say, just on behalf of myself, and I believe both of you agree to this, we don't condone the illegal aspect of it. We're not suggesting that you go out and train without a license today. Because to be quite honest, I worked hard to get my licenses studied. And when people get on the airways without one, it just flat out pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, right up front, we're not condoning any illegal activity. We're not condoning operating without a license. But having that license means that, yes, you've put yourself out as more of a target in the communications realm than if you didn't have the license, but you do have the training. And one of the things that I would suggest is if you can afford it, you have a few different radios. Maybe you're going to hide one or two radios in different spots, kind of like you would hide other tools that you don't want found if there was like a confiscation order. So you put a few things away, and it's much easier in some cases to hide some electronics than it is other things. But and then you want to have something that is kind of half hidden or not hidden at all, sitting on the counter like it normally would be as a decoy setup. Something that if the enemy came in and found it, they would go, oh, great, I got the radio. I found his radio, and they might take his radio. You might take your radio, and then you look all sad knowing that was your cheap dummy radio, and it was visible and it was set out there as bait. Stuff like that. Additional OPSEC. You want to have a cache of rechargeable AA and AAA batteries. Put those in Faraday pouches or foil-lined bags to block detection. Solar chargers hidden in plain sight. Example as garden lights. And that might work. Monitor more than transmit. Use low power. Have backup plans. Have multiple caches. Have some at home. Have some off-site with trusted allies. And this is, again, when this hits, people, we need to have other people that we trust, that we can trade with, that we can rely on to help protect us, and you protect them. You can't do it alone. Nobody's gonna make it on their own. Want to practice drills. You want to practice this stuff. Direction finding. Let's say practical estimates on prepper triangulation. So ham radio, HF for CW, transmitting for less than 10 seconds per burst on low power, 1 to 5 watts, with a directional antenna, not the big end fed or dipole that's going out all over the place, with a decent directional antenna. Maybe the end fed, it might give you 5 to 10 minutes of total transmission time before a moderate RDF team can narrow or locate your location down to a 1 to 2 kilometer radius in urban areas. It'll take longer if you're in the rural area. HF's ionospheric bounce makes precise fixes harder, and it buys you more time. GMRS, VHF, and FM modes. Voice on GMRS with a 5-watt handhold in bursts of less than 5 seconds might allow you 1 to 3 minutes before triangulation in urban settings, 5 to 10 minutes in rural settings. GMRS's line of sight nature makes it vulnerable to RDF trucks, which could be rolling around at any time. Digital modes like HF JS8 call, similar to CW, 5 to 10 second bursts, or 10 to 15 second bursts. JS8 call uses a 15-second protocol. It transmits for 15 seconds and then listens for 15 seconds. And it could allow you 3 to 8 minutes total before detection, assuming low power, narrow bandwidth, and the RF risks. If you're running a laptop, that makes you more detectable if there's somebody in the area sniffing Wi-Fi signals. So, how to minimize triangulation? Keep your transmission short. You're going to aim for 5 to 10 second bursts with 5 to 10 minute gaps. You're going to use CW or digital, brevity, and avoid voice unless it's critical right now, life and death information. Meshtastic is another one that you might want to consider. We're looking at all tools. This is a non-regulated thing. Set up your network, and it's burst information. And I've never used it tactically, but there's ATAC configurations where you can look up your friends' locations. All kinds of cool stuff to do with other radio activity. Maintain low power, 1 to 5 watts. You don't want to use 50 watt mobiles or 100 watt HF units. Directional antennas. Use beams, i.e. Yagis for VHF. Moxons for HF. Aimed away from likely RDF receivers and avoid omnidirectional verticals. The problem is omnidirectional verticals are so easy and stealthy to set up, but it's going to put out your signal in a really, really wide pattern. And it's and if they're low mounted, it's going to be NVIS, and you're going to have some issues. Let's see. The Fire Guy says for semi-covert location, check out what 3 words. Every square foot on Earth is identified with 3 words. Yeah. There's another thing. But again, that is something that you need to practice. And if other people have the same thing, what 3 words, I don't know if the 3 words are a universal thing. It'll keep probably 80-90% of the people from discovering the location that you're talking about. Terrain advantage. Transmit from shielded spots, valleys, behind hills to block line of sight to RDF units. Avoid hilltops unless using directional antennas. Burst scheduling. Pre-arranged transmission windows. 3 a.m. for 10 seconds to minimize listening time by adversaries. Use coded messages. Not, hey, this is K6UDA. This is Alpha 3. What's up for next rally point? Moving toward next rally point. Monitor first. You want to listen. Same practice as you would now. Listen for 1 to 2 minutes before transmitting to ensure the frequency is clear and no RDF activity is evident. And I don't know how you would know if there's RDF activity. You have to assume that there is. Yes. Remember, if they confiscate, this is from KK7RDO. Remember, if they confiscate your radio, they're gonna have access to all of your programming, including that of other radio operators. Yes, if you have other specific radio operators programmed into your radio, if you've just like me got a whole bunch of repeaters and frequencies plugged in, they'll have access to that. But all of that is right now readily available under the FCC, with the exception of a few frequencies that I use for other, for more tactical communications. You want to guard those radios with your life. And if you have to leave it, I would say erase everything in the radio, reset that radio before you put it out there, or hide it really, really well and hope that it's secure and it'll work when you pick it up. All right, some of the takeaways that I've got out of this are use the power of ham radio as a listening device more than a transmitting device, unless you have critical information that you need to put out. Great intel device, and if you're using ham radio and not GMRS, CB, FRS, you have the ability to put it on a whole myriad of frequencies and listen to a lot of stuff and get a lot of information. If you are currently a licensed ham or GMRS operator, just know you're going to be under scrutiny and they'll be looking at you. So you have to then transition into super covert mode, knowing that they're looking at you. Plan a decoy radio in case your house or your vehicle or whatever gets searched and they know that you're a ham radio operator. Plant those decoys. And on the subject of the decoy radios, let's say you've got a HF tower outside and you can't bring that thing down. Well, they're also going to be able to look back at satellite imagery and go, okay, we saw a tower here last week or last month or last year, and where is it now? There hasn't been a change of ownership or residency that we can see. Have an extra HF machine that you can put somewhere, working or not. And so if they're looking for that type of a radio, you're gonna make it easy for them to find your HF radio and maybe a Baofeng or something. And then they're satisfied. Maybe, hopefully. Only transmit away from your base. Use the lowest power you can and only use small hideable antennas. Likewise, only transmit once from a specific location. We're not going to have a conversation with anybody. And we'll get to scheduling in a second. Current radio sport activities like HOA stealth antenna building, POTA, SOTA, contesting in nets are practical training tools for SHTF operations. The best way to spend your money on comms is to buy the best equipment that you can, and also buy something that you can use as bait. It's critical to have a plan that is rehearsed. You need to be able to schedule contacts, frequency hopping, covert frequency plans. That those things have to be in place before any of this stuff happens, or the bad stuff happens. Because once the plans are set in place by a government or the enemy, and they're on the move, it's too late. It's too late to rehearse, to make contact schedules, skeds, as the ham radio world says, frequency hopping, all that good stuff. Alternate call sign assignments, prearranged locations for rally points. Hey, rally point 3, instead of we're going to meet at Terry's house. That could be rally point 3. Make a plan to hide some radio equipment. You can hide it in boxes of junk, and unless your house gets really, really searched, and they go through everything, you might be able to avoid detection. Dependent on your role, make a plan to hide the radio equipment. Dependent on your role as a communicator, location and resources available. So if you're in the city and you live in an apartment, you've got very little to work with, and you might want to start looking outside the home to hide some equipment. But if you have the need to have that equipment with you or to communicate right now, you're going to have that equipment closer to you, as opposed to if you don't have critical information that you need to get out, maybe you can go drive 15, 20 minutes and then retrieve your gear, do your thing, and put it back. Develop your skill sets. Modes like CW, JS8 Call, PSK, WinLink, they're going to become very, very valuable skills. So practice them now. Get proficient if you can. I'm trying to learn CW. Avoid triangulation traps. Use short bursts of only vital RF. Practice move and shoot operations. Use very low power when possible. Maintain a good cover story. Get involved in Aries, Races, or Mars. That will aid in giving you shade and cover in the event of martial law. Why do you have an HF radio? And why do you still have a tower up? Well, because I'm part of Aries, my local Aries or Races group, or you're part of Mars, and you never share that information with any of those people. And then finally, my list of takeaways. You want to practice, rehearse, and plan with those that you intend on working with before crap hits the fan. And that's all I got. Anybody else got anything? Thoughts? You guys?
When you were talking about HOA and also keeping your antennas visible, I think it's a good idea to have, if you have the ability to have an antenna in your attic, that works very well. I live in an HOA and I do have a DX commander out, but I have two antennas in my attic. One's a G5RV, and it's horizontal, so I can do pretty good HF. But I also have a Comet vertical, so I have both of those that you can't see. So if I need to take down my DX commander, I can just lay it down and it's invisible and gone. And I have the other two, and in fact, most of the time, the G5RV does about as well as the DX commander does. So almost don't need that one.
Yeah.
But so that's a good way to be invisible.
You know, there's a lot of different kinds of that stealth HOA type antenna. And I know doing something up in your attic is less than optimal. A G5RV in a small house isn't really going to work very well. And how do they work for receive? Do they work okay? Are they noisy? Is the signal way down that you receive from, say, your DX commander?
To be honest, I don't know if don't have it programmed as well, but I think I get just about as good with the G5RV as I do with the DX Commander. Of course, I'm trying to hide my DX Commander a little bit, so I have it behind my house in a certain spot, which might be better if I could open it up in a better spot. But most of the time, I do pretty well. What I'll do is I have it set so I can just change antennas over here. And sometimes if I'm searching HF, I'll go from one antenna to the next. And if I pick somebody up, I'll switch antennas to see if one's better than the other. Most of the time, they're about the same.
Okay.
80 meters is the one I have probably the scratchiest time with, even though I have an 80 meters antenna.
Welcome to the 80 meter club.
Yeah. Other than that,
Yeah.
Can I throw something in just different before we
Absolutely.
And this is off topic, but I just read it. And this shows you how things are going to get worse. Portland mayor, I just wrote a note down for myself. Portland mayor orders removal of police perimeters at ICE facilities despite federal request. So in other words, they have a little blue line where you're not supposed to pass it, you can get arrested. The mayor says you can't have that. So in other words, the mayor wants the building attacked. Get rid of the line so we can attack the building. Why hasn't somebody arrested that guy for federal charges of something? So
Unbelievable.
Expect Portland to get worse. It's going to get worse. Anyway, so that because of that. So, but another thing too for the, I received a thing from ARRL requesting we send in this request, and I don't remember all the details, but it was in order to eliminate HOA rules that prevent ham radios from being used, antennas. Right. And so I don't know what's going to happen with that, but
if you have the link, post that in the chat. If you've got the link for that, and it's a very quick little thing. It's you put your call sign in, I think, and it generates a letter to your elected officials asking for them to support its federal legislation to prevent HOAs from putting in antenna restrictions for ham radio operators. Couple of
Yeah, I'll
couple
see
of
if I can find it.
oh, go ahead.
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, Jeff, anything from Michigan, Illinois?
No, nothing here, and I apologize. I haven't heard 90% of what you guys said. It's just all garbled on my end. So I'm just here monitoring chat.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Got a couple of things. Spendy option from KK7RDO. He's posted a link. I haven't clicked on it yet. He said it's spendy, but an option might be. So, well, you know what? Screw it. Let's just click it and see what it opens. Amazon. Oh, ooh, a Bearcat scanner. Yeah. If you live in an area that, crap. If you live in an area where, especially if your public safety or your local jurisdiction is on trunked systems, 800 megahertz, 900 megahertz, a good scanner is really the only way that you're going to get in on the action, and you're going to be able to hear that. CUCV Farmer says, don't carry a cell phone with you if you are going somewhere to transmit, so they can't track you by your cell phone. That's really good information. That is unbelievably good information, because remember, guys, this is a little tracking device. They're tracking me everywhere I go. And right now I'm not really going anywhere. You can, you know, and if you want to take your phone with you, even if you put it in airplane mode, they're still tracking you. About the only way you can get around that is by putting it in a little Faraday bag. I've got a couple of little Faraday bags made for phones, and they pretty much block out everything. Those little silent bags, those work actually pretty good.
Bob, it looks like it might have worked. So if somebody's interested, go on and take a look.
Yeah. So Terry just posted a link on Rumble. Whoa, hang on here.
And it is just a link. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they've told me about. But if they just go there and they'll see what it is, and they can punch in. All they need to do is pretty much punch in their call sign, and it fills out most of it.
Right. I'm going to try to copy this and cross-post it over here onto YouTube.
I can send you a text to it later if you want.
All right. No, I just posted that over onto YouTube. What do we have here for numbers? Looks like how many people?
28 or so.
All right. Looks like we got 36 between X and 36 people between X and YouTube online right now. We got 5 thumbs up. Can you please just quickly give this live stream a thumbs up if you're over there on YouTube or X? And let's go take a look at. We've got 30 over here on Rumble. And again, we've got 10 thumbs up now. Can we get 30? Guys, let me just... crap. What did I just do? There we go. We put a lot of work into this every week. An unbelievable amount of work and resources to bring you this information and have this open dialogue with you guys. It would be so nice to kind of get the algorithm working for us. So please, wherever you're at, just give it a thumbs up. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And I have nothing else. Anybody? Jeff, you got... Terry's muted.
No, I'm good. I
Okay.
just had to yell something at my wife.
Oh, okay.
Not yell at her, yell something to her.
Yeah, we know. You had to yell at her.
Yeah.
Get in the kitchen. Get in the kitchen. Make me a sandwich.
I did have to ask her to fill my coffee cup up. So
Yeah, let me know how that works.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would add, it's off subject of what you've been talking about, but I think that people need to understand what's going on. Our nation right now is experiencing a real major trial, and not necessarily between the left and the right, but between the light and darkness. And we're going to see a massive change in people having delusion and deception. Delusion, basically an interpretation of that word is, regardless of the evidence that you have in front of you, you can't see it or believe it. And so you can talk to somebody until you're blue in the face, and it just doesn't compute because they're deceived. So when you talk about Israel and Gaza, and you have all the pro Gaza people out there, pro Hamas out there, they don't realize that everything they've been hearing from the news and the Palestinians is a lie. It's pure outright lie. But when they believe it, it causes them to respond to the negative of it and act accordingly. So we're seeing that in other nations, and that's what I wanted to talk. London, Paris, all kinds of Germany, they're basically fallen. And if the election in New York happens and this Mandavi guy wins, say goodbye to New York, because you will have tens of thousands of Muslims moving in. You will never be able to have another election where a Muslim isn't installed. And it's just going to get worse from there. You can go to Dearborn and see what's happening there. We are invaded. We have been invaded, and it's just going to increase. Understand, I've studied on Muslim, I've read the book, and what their idea is to come in and basically have kids raise up, take over offices in the government, and then slowly move in and take over that city, that state, that country. And it's happening right now, right in front of our eyes. Just go watch what's going on in London. If you're not a Muslim and you say something negative or you have a flag, it's ripped down, you're thrown in jail. If you're a Muslim, pretty much do what you want to do. And so that's what we're facing. And I know that we don't like to hear that stuff. And I don't want to always be the guy of bad news. But it's worse to be ignorant of what's really happening around us and let it come up to the point where it bites us in the butt, and then it's too late to do anything.
Yeah.
So we just need to be aware and respond accordingly, vote accordingly. What can I say? Seek God if you don't know Him, and just be prepared. And what you're hearing now, what you're hearing Bob and Jeff talk about, and I talk about, is how you can be prepared in other ways for stuff that's going to happen, for your safety and the safety of others around you. And it's not going to change all the stuff going on in the world, but it will help protect you and keep you in a place where you'll know what's going on, know how to respond. It's nice to know if something's going on downtown that you don't know that it's moving your way. So that's how we can communicate through the radios and stuff that Bob talked about this morning. So that's my 2 cents. And if you want 10 cents, we'll have to do that at another time. So.
All right. Jeff, you got any final words? We can hear you.
I don't have any final words. I apologize. I didn't contribute more today. I'm so uber frustrated with the fact that I'm having technical difficulties.
Yeah. Yep. So am I.
I will say, you know what? I will say something about Dearborn. Um, Dearborn, Michigan has absolutely been taken over as a Muslim city. Um, and some things that have been happening lately there that's made it into the news is the citizens are starting to revolt a little bit. Like most major cities, there's noise ordinances, and you could get in trouble if you're caught playing your radio too loud. And you can get in trouble if you've got that Saturday night party that goes on too loud or too long. But all throughout the day, various times of the day, when it comes time for the Muslim prayer, they broadcast over the loudspeakers throughout the city, and it puts noises into people's homes and everything else. And the same person that gets in trouble for having the party last night has to hear the call to prayer all throughout the day, and they're starting to have a problem with it. But it seems like they don't have to abide by the same laws that we do, and that is definitely a problem that's going on in Dearborn. It's all over the news here, and I'm sure that as more communities continue to grow, it's going to become a problem there as well.
Oh,
What you
yeah.
see happening in Dearborn, like Jeff is saying, is going to increase and become the norm in other cities. Picture New York getting to that place. Tens of thousands of them every day, stopped right in the middle of the street, right in the middle of the traffic. They don't give a hoot and doing their thing. If you're a church there, you may be bombed out, burned out, or whatever. So it's a lot more serious than people think. People just don't realize what is going on. I wish I could give them a picture of what's really happening and what's going to happen. But the only way I can do that is give them a lesson on end time prophecy. So, uh, which we can't do it here. But anyway, they just believe me, it's going to get worse. And again, I don't like giving the bad news, but there it is.
I
Yeah.
feel like everybody has a right to their belief and everybody has a right to their opinion, and that's one of the privileges of living here. What I don't like is when everybody's opinions and beliefs are shoveled into your face and you can't get away from it. That's the problem that I have with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you know what? Everybody's got their beliefs, but when you've got different rules for different classes of people, that's where I've got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and again, next week I'm going to be on the road. Jeff's going to be on the road, so we're just not going to do a net next week. And let's see. Yeah. And then so I'll be back hopefully 2 weeks, and we'll go from there. We'll see what weird stuff. Maybe I might. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take this guy with me. So this is the Shark RF M1KE. So I will be able to get in on YSF, and I'll be able to get back into the repeater. Maybe one day we'll just kind of do an impromptu little check-in net and call that good, and then we can all check in from our devices. Anyway, I have nothing else. Jeff, any parting words?
No, take care, everybody, and I guess I will see you all in 3 weeks because I will not be available the week after next. It'll be the following week that I come back. And
Okay.
hopefully things will be better because my good computer and all that is down in Florida, and that's the problem is I'm working on an old laptop and using my phone camera, and and all the good stuff's down there. So I get back down there, and hopefully I can be back to being me again.
Ah, perfect. Perfect. Terry, any final thoughts from you?
No, just look up. He's coming soon.
Yes, yes. All right, my friends. Thanks again, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks on Bob Kasich GDA. And we're out. See ya.